Little when the sun goes down, we could walk this autumn town, find a place to be alone.
Welcome back to central Portugal and the next phase of building a dry, flat, covered outdoor kitchen. And with the first autumn rain, the ground gets a bit softer. So our thoughts have turned to digging, with shovels, with hands, with pry bars, and of course my trusty enxada. But first, a bit of tidying up. Our friends builders have dropped some of their rubble off to help us fill up the driveway, but of course it's in the wrong place and needs to be moved. And we're back out moving all the rubble again this morning, and Phil's already beaten me to it, but he looks like he's doing a slightly different technique this time. He's decided to lob the big ones. Bit of target practice. He's trying to make it a bit deeper near the entrance off the gate, so there isn't quite so much of a sort of slope down when we reverse the car in. I'm trying to make a more gradual slope.
So I think there's a sort of hollow there.
Down there.
There's a hollow here.
Yep.
With a higher spot here. So if we can fill this, get this little bit filled in and grade it down, that should be okay. You reckon?
Yeah, brilliant.
We're due a delivery from the builders merchants today. So this is going to be the aggregate for the bases of the cover for the outdoor kitchen and the metal roof sheets. So it's the first test of the new hardcore on the driveway. Hopefully the truck will be able to come in through the gate backwards, and I've laid down some polythene so that when the aggregate, it's 1 cubic metre of aggregate, hopefully will just go onto there, which means we can scoop it up and gather it without it getting all mucked up inside the geotextile. The roofing panels 4 metres long, about 1 metre wide each. So I've laid out some timbers and hopefully we can lug it off manually. They're only quite lightweight, thin metal sheets with ridges. So they will be able to sit there for a few days until we get the rest of the wood in, start to build the structure.
Back out at the roadside gutter, Jane seems to have got the art of digging from down in the bottom of the trench and putting it up into the wheelbarrow. I tried it and I just couldn't get it to work. I was throwing it everywhere. So salute to Jane, her technique wins and gets me out of an awkward and uncomfortable job. It's interesting though that even with the rain, after a couple of hours of sunshine, the ground still dries out very quickly, but the ground seems to be looser now. It's more dusty, granular. It seems a bit easier to move somehow.
And my work here is done. I've cleared the gully all the way behind the houses, all the way from the tiny house, behind the main house, all the way past the end. And I'm shattered.
Another part of readiness for the outdoor kitchen roof is trying to get the layout right for where I'm going to put the base foundations in. So I'm just going to dig down a small hole and lay in some concrete to be able to sit the posts on. One of them is going to come up sort of there, and with a 3-meter span across. The other one has a little bit of an interesting challenge with this stump. So I'm going to try to remove as much as possible, but I reckon I'm going to have to dig down in the area in front of it, and some of that stump might have to stay as a feature. But I'll give it a bit of a go. I've got the little electric trimmers, the mini chainsaw thingy, and let's see how it happens. So there seems to be a lot of ivy around the base, and that is all actually quite loose. So with a bit of persuasion, I'll get the pry bar on it. And actually, the stump is moving as well. Cut down along it. Okay, so that's the ivy root dug out, and that looks fairly shaky, so with a bit of digging down that may well come out as well. So the leverage has actually started to get it to move. I reckon another good kick or two. Well done. So what was an in the way stump now actually has started our hole. Excellent. Starting to get a bit cooler now, so opportunity to get on with the next big job. And we've got the materials, or some of the materials, delivered. Now we've got to get on with preparing the ground for the roof over the outdoor kitchen. And the first thing that's going to be needed there is a whole bunch of digging. So this is the kitchen area, which Jane is still fertling around in. So I'll make sure not to get in the way. But one of the problems we've got, it's just the way the landscape works, is that there's a slope from the bottom of the pigsty, the top of the pigsty there, down towards the utility, but also down and away from where I'm standing. So there's a sort of gentle diagonal all the way down there. And we've set the kitchen worktop at the height it is. If we're going to put in a post for the cover, one post is going to go there, and the other post is going to go, and you'll have seen me take the stump out the other day, the other post is going to go roughly there. Two other posts, one's going to be then behind the fridge, going down behind there, and the other one will go inside the pigsty down about there. So it makes a lot of sense if I can do something to level out this floor before we start building up from it. And I got the pry bar the other day, and you can see the cracks in the concrete slab. The concrete slab is pretty thin. It comes up like heavy duty cardboard. So I'm hoping to be able to get underneath there. There'll be a step roughly where that piece of timber is. So we'll have an upper level and then step down to a lower level at the right height for the kitchen worktop. And the kitchen worktop height is set by the power sockets, which were designed in with the kitchen worktop at a certain height. And really, if I'm going to move the kitchen worktop up or down, I've got to do a lot of work with the power sockets, and I really don't want to do that. So it's back to digging. Step one, get the pry bar out and lift up this concrete, and then see how soft the ground is underneath and start digging it out to a level.
Google culture. Chuck it down the ditch.
Huh?
Google culture.
Oh yeah. So if we're doing hugel culture, have I got to do the big one first and then the small ones after?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, that was easier than I thought. In and out in seconds. Chopped off the sheets and then side tipped 1 cubic metre of gravel onto the plastic sheet. Straight out and away, out through the gate. Even crushed a few of my tiles in the process. Happy days. So that's just, I've stepped it out 300 millimeters from the pigsty wall, so which will give me enough room to get the base plate. So dig out a hole for the concrete footing and a base plate for the upright timber. Uprights are 160 mil, so with the flange on the bottom, 300 mil should do us nicely. So then just used a straight-ish piece of long timber just to give me that line across. So I'm thinking to go along it with the disc cutter just to give it a shear line, and then I can lift all the other stuff that's below it, and that will give us the line of the step that we will then create for the upper level of the of this area.
This is where I should have realised just how dusty a this cutter on a concrete slab can be. But caught up in the moment, doing the job I was doing. Let's just say I was told about it afterwards.
Thought I was going to pick these up with a barrow, but I think I may as well just carry them in my arm. Yeah. Going to put these over on the area in front of the barn, so that when we get the chipper out, I can chop these down alongside the mimosa bit that I put down. See these pesky things? The trunk that we cut down before has already sprouted this much again, so yeah, a bit of a long, repetitive job again. Right, that's one thing, and then just got down the trench. That's made a bit of a mess. Oh, and I wanted to show you something I found. I came to water poor sad basil the other day, and look what's growing at the base. We've got tomatoes. Look, you can see it's got quite a few on there. Isn't that brilliant? Tomatoes and basil. It's almost as if it knew.
Very soft. I'll come up in no time. There's a comb. plastic cone buried underneath the concrete sheet. Hey ho. That'll come in useful somewhere else. Okay, let me try and lever out towards you now.
Yeah, that's it, you've got it. You've got it. Brilliant. That's a good kind of square corner at least.
Let's see how heavy that is to move.
You'll be able to roll it. Find your toes. That's stone.
It's quartz.
Stone. Oh,
It's
wow.
one of the quartz.
Brilliant.
Jeez, that's going to be heavy.
Just roll it over to near the...
That. I think it's quartz.
No, it's just a light coloured, the grey stone.
Put some water on it. Okay.
It might be the white quartz. Wow. Yeah, mixture. Bit of white quartz in it, isn't it?
Can't really see, it's gone all brown.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah. That's dug a big bit of the hole for us.
Saved you some digging. Brilliant.
Excellent.
That's excellent.
A couple of hours in, progress has been remarkably good. So with a bit of help from the big sledgehammer and the pry bar, we've managed to get underneath and clear out all above. So hoping to get the rest of the concrete up today and trying to set a level based on the worktop height. So everything is going from the sort of near right down to the bottom left. That's the slope. So I want to get the worktop height right to dig down to set the base level just about there. So we've propped it for the moment just to hold it up at the right height, or hold it up completely. But then there's going to be some decking board, there's going to be a shallow deck frame, probably 40mm or something like that, about 50mm of gravel, and then some geotextile fabric, weed killer, fabric to wood preventer fabric underneath it. So I've got to get about 100 mil, as well as the standard 900 mil of worktop height. So that's the target, is to get rid of all of this stuff around here and work out then a datum. From there, everything else in every direction will flow. But like I said, progress. The fridge has moved indoors, so the fridge is now inside the utility on its wheels, but the overall progress way ahead of where I thought we were going to be by now. You can see why it's cracked. There's almost air. It's sort of, the soil has eroded down, and so there's not much supporting it, which is why it cracks. So if we take that worktop as the height we want it to be at, down to the ground level, we're now at 97, 98.
Oh, that's good. So if we wanted it at 90, then yeah.
We just need another 5
Just 5
centimetres
centimetres off. Oh, that's easy peasy.
off of that, which is actually going to be probably above where we are down there. So
Brilliant.
that will sit as the baseline.
Good. Woo.
So I've got the trusty pry bar, my favourite little bit of wood. Really does work well.
Oh, that's a big one.
You have a favourite tool?
No, you don't.
It's a very heavy sledgehammer. There we go.
I think that's one more barrow load. It's quite full, that, Phil.
Okay, let me
Give
just
yourself
get
a separate trip.
Just for completeness, let's see if I can get this one up as well before I take it away. There's quite
There's
a
a heck
void.
of a void, isn't there? Mm.
It's quite a void underneath it, so
Trying to find something to lever off is quite
yeah.
tricky. Well, it's good. It just needs a sledgehammer,
The
else
whole
it's going to
thing.
come in one big chunk, isn't it?
Yeah, the whole thing's come away.
Come in one lump.
There we go.
That's better.
That's
Yeah.
it.
That'll be the last.
Right, we can grab that out. I'll go and take this
I'll
one off
get
the
that
top.
up. You do the barrow.
Happy.
It's extremely rude. Ta-da! Go on.
Look what I found
Big bit of
underneath the
road.
concrete.
Yes.
So, getting down to the nuts and bolts of it, there's a piece of deck board which, with an extra 100 mil to the height that the worktop is going to be, so that's the level that we want to be able to lay a piece of deck board on the soil and be able to measure to the four corners. So that's our datum point. There's a mound in the middle here. That corner's pretty okay. Bit of a rise up to this corner. That corner's pretty okay. So it's basically this lump in the middle needs to come out. And that should do us.
Bit more digging.
A bit more digging, but it's soft. The soil is beautifully soft. It's actually very compliant, easy to move. Quite surprised about it.
That's where all the rain's run down, isn't it?
Possibly.
Over the years.
Possibly. I think it does make it necessary, given the state of the edge of this concrete, that we're going to have to do the next step up on the deck board. So we'll do the same treatment with the deck boards, a step up, because this is going to be dangerous otherwise.
Yep, I think so.
So we've had that reminder of not to get complacent with the conditions here. Get into a very comfortable mode of working all to the last minute and then leaving a few tools out. And overnight we had a first rain shower, nothing major, but you woken up this morning and it's grey, it's overcast, there's an autumnal dampness in the air, but also the reminder that I left a few tools out. And to say, it's a bit of a pull-up note, reminder not to do that again. Get back into the proper ways of working, putting everything away, securing down at night, because I've got a few extra tasks this morning, a few things to do I wasn't planning to, but I guess that's part of living outdoors and doing your best with the situations and the conditions as they present. It's a lovely smell in the air though this morning. That rain has come down and just given it a bit of a freshness, and it's quite lovely. So this is why we're building the roof over the kitchen. A bit of rain overnight, not a lot, but it was enough to fill up and create a bit of a water bubble. You can see how it sits down in the bottom of it, of the cover. And sadly, in opening it out this morning, the cover's ripped. So this particular version, this particular solution, I'm afraid is not going to be any good. We've got a bit more rain coming the next few days. So I've got a tarpaulin in the Adega. I think it's time to add another task to the day and swap this with the tarpaulin and give us some cover for at least for the few days before we get the hard roof fitted. It served us well, but I think that's probably a bit of water then still caught in the... Ooh, yuck. But that's gone well beyond its useful life.
Doesn't take a lot of water to put these citrus trees up. Look, we've actually got blossom again. There's only been a tiny amount of rain, and look what pops up. Sadly, the same can't be said, I don't think, for my pink grapefruit, which got absolutely frazzled in the heat. That being said, however, there are a couple of tiny, tiny, tiny green shoots on the stems. I don't know if you can see them. There's one there. one down there, so you never know, it might possibly recover. If I feed it over and we go,
Well, let's
I'll chuck it over.
Is that a short way or the long way? So the 3 metre way goes that way. 5 metre way goes that way. Okay.
So I just lock this end over, then you
And then we unfold it. Okay.
if I bring half of it, yeah.
That's what I've got in my hand there.
Okay. Okay.
Where's the stick for you?
Be fine. Just hold on. Just hold on.